Matthew chapter 26. The Bible has got many warnings about the danger of loving money. Judas betrayed Jesus for various reasons, but one of them was quite simply a love of money. We read how Judas in this chapter said to the Jewish authorities, the leaders, "What are you willing to give me if I deliver Jesus to you?" And they paid him 30 pieces of silver. So love of money, what will you give me? And I'll do it. Love of money was part of the motivation of Judas, and he did the worst sin ever committed, to betray the perfect Son of God to death. And he did it for money. We're told that Judas actually stole the money which had been collected for the poor. When Judas realized how awful was his sin, he returned to the Jews and he threw the pieces of silver down to the ground. As if he hated that money now. He hated himself. He went out and committed suicide. It seems almost impossible to believe that a man would betray the perfect, sinless, lovely Son of God for money, for cash. But this is the power of the human desire for wealth. It's very, very strong. And people do the same today. They take second jobs, they get involved in demanding careers, and their love for Jesus dwindles until they effectively betray him. People do terrible things for money. And Judas is a sober warning to us about that. The tragedy was that the money he was to be paid was used to buy a field, and it was the potter's field, a muddy piece of land that could only be used as a source of mud for a potter. The money wasn't even enough to buy a house, just a muddy field. People murder and they do awful things just for a bit of money, and they can't buy much with it anyway. Now, there are 4 gospel records, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They describe the events and the ministry of Jesus from different viewpoints. We need to put together all the material in order to get the full picture, and putting them all together regarding Judas, it seems he decided to betray Jesus for money after he'd seen a woman pour a very expensive bottle of perfume on the body of Jesus. He just couldn't stand to see someone else being so generous to Jesus. And so he decided he wasn't going to do that. He was going to get money for himself and not give it away like that woman had done. We see here the contrast between the way of faith and the way of the flesh. What can I give ought to be the question we keep asking, rather than what can I get?